What's up? Did you know that the negative effects of fear include physical problems like heart issues, weakened immunity, and digestive problems, mental struggles such as anxiety, depression, poor decision making, and impaired memory, behavioral impacts like paralysis, social withdrawal, and impulse actions, all stemming from the body's stress response? Chronic fear can significantly damage health, relationships, and the ability to live fully, robbing joy and stifling potential. Physical effects are like cardiovascular, your immune system, digestive issues such as stomach pain, ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome. Others are headaches, migraines, muscle tension, fatigue, disturbances, sleep disturbances, and accelerated aging. Listen, I can relate to this because I be so tired and I be so sleepy after I had a long day of foolishness, and I'm thinking about how I got to deal with the next day. So I guess that's like a form of fear. Mental and emotional effects are cognitive impairment, emotional dysregulation, deregulation, direct dysregulation, heightened anxiety, worry, irritability, mood swings, potential for depression or PTSD. Brain function overwhelms the frontal cortex, hindering rational thought and ethical processing. When you going through all of this, we don't really think about it. We don't think about, somebody on the outside looking in could see how what we're going through is affecting us. But we don't see it because sometimes we would think it's going to be normal. We think that there's nothing wrong with us in that moment. We're thinking, I'm just sad, or I'm just dealing with this situation. I went through baby mama drama for a long time with two kids, two different baby mamas, and I was always treated like the bad guy. Anytime that I was insulted or provoked, when I responded accordingly, meaning just as aggressive as they gave it to me, I was then deemed the bad guy. All I had to do was start yelling and cussing or just responding. And didn't even have to do that, but I was like, I'm falling further and further away from having resolution with this woman and making things smooth so I could see my kid. I never wanted to take them to court because there was the hope that things would get better, but it was also that fear that they would just up and leave. So I was continuously trying to talk to them. Hey, can we talk? Can we do this? Can we do that? And it mean they smooth over sometimes, but then they turn around and screw you over. And then I was dealing with that fear again. It really got to me so bad that at one point I was just like, I'm just gonna stop fighting. Because I felt like it wasn't working. And the more I fought with them, the more they made me feel like the bad guy. And that fear of not being able to see my children, I just lost all kind of motivation, for real. I still got weekends, but it was tough. Other physical, behavioral and rational effects are, other behavioral and relational effects are paralysis. Obsessing over fears can paralyze action and productivity. Yeah, so I didn't even want to go to, like I said, I didn't want to take her to court because you make it. Everybody on their side made me like a bad guy because I wanted to take them to court because they didn't want to talk sensibly about it. We went to mediation, and they still wasn't trying to give me what I wanted. I just wanted to see my child. They didn't want that. And then you could see her, but on my terms. You crazy. I was like, man, what am I to do? And it took me through the gambit, man. And so like impulsivity, it says can lead to rash choices instead of thoughtful responses. Like on both sides of the fence, I was irrational when I responded, yelling, fussing with them, and then also when I decided not to take them to court because I felt like I was making it worse, and it was like this hope in the back of my mind that things would get better, and it never did. To this day, it's ridiculous. But the fear is not there anymore because I get to see my daughter and talk to her. She's 21 now, so, but having to go through all of that when she was, for 4 years old, it was, it was crazy. These broads, and I also had a fear that it wasn't going to work because I would take these women to court and they still didn't care. They went against what the judge said. And we go back to court and the judge was like, well, you guys need to learn how to talk it out. You guys need to learn how to talk it out. I was like, wait a minute, bro. Why would you? That's not what you're supposed to say. That's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to tell this broad, look, stop playing games. I'm going to put your behind in jail. He did tell her that one time. But it was like he just get tired of seeing us there. But the reason I was there was because it was just stupid, man. So strained relationships is one of them. Prevents authentic connection, builds walls, and fosters self-seeking behavior. So I know that my baby mama, one of them was afraid that I was going to try to get custody of her. I should have got custody of her, but she was afraid. So she would never trust nothing. And she was always trying to keep my daughter away from me. And, I had to pick her up at 4:00 in the afternoon every other weekend. So I picked her up. And one time I picked her up late. And she didn't even call me to see if I was coming. And she would do stupid stuff, man. She was just, oh my God, I'm not trying to stay on the subject, but the fear from what I was experiencing was real. I could understand where she was coming from, but I wasn't going to do anything. Like I kept trying to reassure her that wasn't going to happen. So the relationship between me and her it wasn't as good. At some point you was telling her you was loving her, your baby mama. If you putting it in her, before she was a baby mama, she was your girlfriend or a side piece. You know what I'm saying? And y'all trusted each other enough to have sex unprotected, and then it turned into some BS. But don't want to be off the subject too much, but you get what I'm saying. It was a loss of joy. It consumes thoughts, preventing appreciation for pleasant experiences, meaning that, and some people, and I'm using my experiences to kind of describe this. I'm like, even when she came over for the weekend, it was like, man, I got to go through this whole 2 weeks. She's not going to answer the phone when I call. She's not going to do this. She's not going to do that. She's going to be uncooperative. And then she would get mad because I was calling. And the judge said, yo, you answered the phone when he called. Oh, my phone was dead. And it was just, it was horrible. I couldn't really enjoy the weekends that I did have with her because of what I was going through on both sides, with both my kids. But we did manage, we went on trips and stuff, and sometimes one child would be able to go and then the other one wouldn't, and vice versa. This was every summer, spring break. It was just crazy. So long-term consequences are chronic health conditions. I am not even going to try to spell that. I think it's fibromyalgia. Oh, I said pronounce. I meant to say pronounce. Fibromyalgia, asthma, autoimmune disorders, erosion of life, diminished resilience, lost opportunities, and life centered on fear rather than fulfillment. And that's centered on fear rather than fulfillment. I wasn't taking the time to enjoy the time with my daughters and my family. I was just like, man, and I hated to drop her off because I was just missing my child, Cause I said, she not gonna answer the phone during the week. It's gonna be 2 weeks. These bros ain't had no sympathy for the fact that they had a sister, and it was, it was a nightmarish situation that I don't wish on nobody, bro. Nobody. Strap up, or don't get down. Chronic health issues. When you have stress and fear, it literally eats at your body. This is not just something I'm making up. It eats at your body and can destroy you in many ways, mentally and physically. So please, 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 please be happy. Do not fear. Do whatever you got to do to fix the issues that's going on that bring fear into your life. The triggers, the people. Separate yourself from those things. If you see yourself in the midst of those triggers, get away from them. If you see yourself in the midst of those people, get away from them. If you got baby mama drama, or you the non-custodial parent, or if you are the custodial parent and your baby mama, baby daddy is acting a fool and you within the rights, do what you got to do. Call the police. Whether you custodial or non-custodial, call the police. Get them involved. Have them handle your light work. Don't be afraid to take them to court. Excuse me. Though doing it, having a routine of fighting back or fighting your fears will help you to overcome your fears and be better off. Find something to do in the meantime, like work out, do some push-ups. I would say do some physical something, like do some jumping jacks, do some squats, do something to help you get past that, to get over that fear. It's got to be you or nothing. Whatever you dealing with, it could be dealt with. It can be. It could be dealt with. You just got to find a way to do it, and you got to push yourself to get over that fear. All right? Be fearless. Peace.